Hey everybody, checking in with the Isle of Man tournament. This game is between Fabiano Caruana with the white pieces and Grandmaster MagnusCarlsen with the black pieces. Game started off e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Same old stuff, right? Rui Lopez, no Berlin. Okay, now we have this variation with bishop c5. Here it goes by different names. So a4, rook b8, and now d4 by Caruana. Bishop goes back. a5, just some tactics here, since this piece is defending the e pawn here. So, for example, if knight takes here, then the idea is rook takes, bishop takes, followed by d takes here. If d takes e5, then queen takes d8, king takes d8, followed by knight e5 check. I mean knight e5, I'm sorry. And knight to f7. Right, because this is also threatened with the fork. So that's one of the possibilities there. This is why Carlsen plays bishop a7, h3, castles, bishop e3. Now notice that Caruana ignores this pawn right here. If the knight takes e5, the idea is to play here with the bishop attacking both knights. Although it is playable. For instance, after e takes d4, the knight takes d4, knight takes, bishop takes e4, and let's just say like d5, for instance, with complicated play. Or perhaps even take with the bishop. So Carlsen decides to play rook a8, rook e1, and now this pawn is really immune, because after knight takes e4, then simply d5 this time, and bishop takes, and rook takes. This is attacked, and this knight is attacked. So a move like knight f2 would be forced, and white would be winning. So h6 by Magnus, knight bd2, rook e8, and g4 is played. And now, of course, Caruana's intentions are quite clear. It's basically a full-on kingside assault. And this position is interesting because it's kind of hard to see where black's going to be able to match white's lead in development on the king side of the board. For instance, if black wants to play on the other side of the board, it looks like he doesn't really have anything going yet on the queen side. Meanwhile, white has g4 already played. Bishop is placed on a nice diagonal here, as well as this bishop on e3, looking at the h6 pawn. So it looks like whatever happens, white is going to be faster. You know, he has these nice central pawns. But it's interesting what Magnus does here. He plays queen e7. And now Caruana plays knight f1, doing typical Rui Lopez maneuvers aimed at f5. A natural move is, I would say normal for like an average player would be a move like g5. And I don't see anything really wrong with that. And after that exchange, you got the attack here. So rook f8 is pretty much forced, and you can bring the other knight into play. And like I don't see anything wrong with this. So for example, queen e8, maybe knight h4, followed by f4, and just continuing the theme of the kingside attack here, bringing rook over to f1 eventually, and getting the queen over to h4 eventually also. And I think this is probably more logical. It seems like Caruana just his moves were kind of slow here. He plays knight f1, knight d8, knight g3, and now c5. So now there's a counterattack in the center. Queen d2. And these moves give Carlsen just enough time to generate some counterplay. Bishop c2. And you see now the knight jumps back, so now g5 won't be played with tempo. So for example, if g5, he can just take and then just simply trade off and play a move like f6. So now b4 is played. And of course, if Magnus doesn't react here with en passant, then Caruana will have just a full-on kingside attack, as the pawn chain will, lock down the queen side. So of course, Magnus takes en passant. And after this, he just gets a lot of counterplay here. Bishop e6, bishop c2. Again, this is like some slow play from Caruana. It's understandable to preserve the pieces, but perhaps something a little more aggressive. Attacking this guy. And if he takes here, bishop takes. You got e takes d5. And you got some opposition with this rook and queen here. And also you got the knight coming to f5. Or in some cases h5. Alright. Black also has to worry about the sacrifice on that pawn right there. So contrast what I just showed you to bishop c2, which again kind of gives black some time to get his position together. Rook c8. Again, really slow looking move. And Caruana should be trying to realize his plan on the king side, but it's like he's trying to basically have his cake and eat it too. He's trying to have the attack on the king side and then completely stop all counterplay from white. He's making all of these like mini maneuvers which slow his attack down. And meanwhile, Magnus is just improving his position here. So now you see the rook going to c1. And simple move by Magnus, just piling up on this pawn. Queen b2. So now you have to ask yourself what's going on. How does g4 and knight f1 to g3, and with this idea of attacking on the king side, how does that coincide with these other moves that have been made now in the last couple of moves? Queen b2, the bishop coming to c2, and then d3. So you can see that Caruana has wasted some time, and with this time, Magnus gets all kind of play going. So he snatches the pawn up. Another piece comes away from the king side. Magnus strikes in the center. This was a weird game by Caruana. He was in some time pressure, and it's kind of like he just kind of collapsed. And this is a good, good instructive game to show, the counterplay of black when the opponent is attacking on the king side. You see Magnus concentrates on the queen side here, and he just refutes white's, attack. Nothing happened after g4. It's like Caruana just like hit a dead end after that. It looked like he was just gonna run Magnus over on the king side, and he hit a dead end after that. And this is the move that ended, ladies and gentlemen. Bishop f4 ending in style. Of course, the queen cannot take the bishop because of the simple fork right here. So that was a good game by Magnus, but I thought Caruana played like bad, basically. A lot of a lot of natural moves. I don't know if he was tired, the tournament, the pressure of the tournament's getting to him, but just a lot of moves that I think like players under 2000 would make. Like g4 and then play g5 after that. He was playing a lot of these like weird type waiting moves, and he just allowed, because I thought Magnus was sort of a bit worse. Then he just allowed Magnus just to do everything he wanted to do. And as you can see, this pawn is still on g4, this pawn is still on h3, and there was never even any sense of an attack. Although a while ago, when you see these earlier positions, like, let's go even back here before knight f1. You see here, white looks like he has a very promising attack. So I'm going to look